Hello, good afternoon, and it's time for the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokumlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including Pad FM in Damongo, Jubilee FM in Keta, and Sunshine FM in Boku. Wherever you are, you can listen to us live. It's also on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, Just a Touch, and UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, DG Bank. Let's go. In this edition, opposition NDC demands reinstatement of all NDC appointees following Supreme Court ruling warning they will sack NPP appointees if they win power.
If the government continues to protect them to act in these unconstitutional offices, then when we come to power, it will be our responsibility to correct that unconstitutionality.
Auditor General finds that Electoral Commission handed voters' data to a private software development company for onward transmission to financial institutions without any written agreement. We have details as the Commission maintains there exists a memo of understanding which has been suspended since 2016. Also, swift intervention by police and fire service prevent angry residents of Idrisu Jamasi in Kumasi from burning apartment housing Benin nationals who they suspect are behind the spate of killings in the community. We are live on the ground. We also have sports.
Yes, and striker Samuajan believes the Blasters can correct mistakes in yesterday's 2-2 draw with Benin and bounce back stronger against defending champions Cameroon on Saturday in the second must-win Group F match in Egypt.
We hope so. And later,
what advice will you give? Show how you arrived at your decision. You may now begin.
Holy Child School battles it out with two others of the science and maths quiz to solve problem of the day. We'll get an update and hear from the team psychologists on helping them overcome distress from defeat.
We meet all the team, including their coaches. Then we try to take them through series of psychological strategies, how they can reduce their anxiety. They may worry a lot. Some may not even forgive themselves for getting certain questions wrong.
We have all that and more coming up in this edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa Apo. Please stay for details. And the opposition NDC is asking government to reinstate all chief executives of state-owned organizations appointed under the Eswal Mahama administration. It follows the Supreme Court ruling last week which declared as unconstitutional the removal of heads of public corporations as a result of the change of government. Some legal experts say the ruling does not take retrospective effect, but NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia says if government fails to heed their demand, they will sack NPP appointees when they win power.
That is the implication of the ruling, because the ruling says that the basis upon which they were removed is wrong. So if they remain in power, then it means that any subsequent government in seeking to implement this ruling can proceed to remove them.
And the NDC government...
But if they are removed now and the appropriate persons reinstated, then it means that there will be no cause for anybody to remove anybody in future.
From what you said, the next NDC government, if you win the next elections, will take steps legally to remove the current CEOs who you believe are appointed illegally.
We don't think that they will have to wait for the assumption of office of the next NDC government. That's why we are calling them to take the appropriate steps to vindicate their rights. If the wrongful dismissals are reversed, then we have proven that CEOs cannot be touched by any subsequent government. But once their removal have been declared unconstitutional, if the government continues to protect them to act in these unconstitutional offices, then when we come to power, it will be our responsibility to correct that unconstitutionality.
You heard the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Inketia there. Now, the Auditor General's office has found that the Electoral Commission handed voters' data to a private software development company, BySystem Limited, without any written agreement. The data was subsequently made available to financial institutions, but the company failed to remit the 20% commission due the electoral body. This is contained in a special audit of selected state institutions presented to Parliament by the Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo. My colleague Joseph Akable joins me in the studio with details. Now, Joseph, first tell us more about this agreement between the EC and the BySystems Limited.
So according to the Auditor General, this agreement required that the EC makes available the voter data to BySystem Limited, which is a software development company. The company in turn makes this data available to various financial institutions at a fee. The Electoral Commission was to obtain 20% of the commission from this this software development company. And so that is it in terms of the specific details of the agreement between the EC and the company.
But is there a response from the EC captured in the special audit report?
Yes, the Auditor General makes the point that he actually wrote to the EC making the point that they've not found an agreement. The EC subsequently presented a memorandum of understanding to the Electoral Commission signed between the Commission and BySystems. The Commission goes on to say that they suspended the MOU in the third quarter of 2016. However, prior to the suspension, the vendor had made a payment for first and second quarter in 2016. Going forward, the Commission said they will review the existing service agreement in line with the public procurement law. But the Auditor General said they reviewed the MOU presented and noted the following. One, the MOU does not constitute a service level agreement, and it goes on to say that the base of the 20% commission is also not stated. There was also no evidence of the suspension of the MOU as stated by management in their response. So the Auditor General maintains that they provided the terms of the agreement and again move on to ensure that the 20% commission is obtained by the Commission.
Okay, so the special audit also focuses on other institutions. I'm sure subsequently we'll be talking about them, but which other institutions does it capture?
So it captures GBC, there's also the National Communications Authority, there's also the Ghana Export Promotion Authority and the University of Ghana, amongst others.
Okay, but we've tried to get some response from the Electoral Commission, though we'll be able to speak to some of them, but it looks like it's impossible. But you've been checking with them. What have they been saying behind the scenes?
We are told that the Commission has responded to Auditor General as has been captured. The Auditor General has communicated to them and they will at the appropriate time respond again to them.
Okay, that's my colleague Joseph Akable. But let's stay a while longer at the staples of the Auditor General, because the Auditor General himself, Daniel Domelevo, is asking public officials to eschew activities that will put them in the position of conflict of interest. According to him, situations such as performing the official duties partially, recruiting and employing relatives amount to conflict of interest. He was speaking at a national dialogue on public accountability organized by the National Commission on Civic Education.
Well, I talked about meritocracy, and let me say that, for instance, when it comes to my profession, the auditor, there is a saying that the auditor should not only be independent, but must be seen as independent. I hope you get me. Early this year, we were going to recruit some people to audit service. And my son, who is almost a chartered accountant with masters, said, "Daddy, can I apply?" I said, "To who? You want to apply to me?" He said, "But am I not a Ghanaian?" I said, "Yes, you are a Ghanaian, but you don't qualify because I'm here. I can't employ you."
Is that fair?
It's not fair. But I explained to him, see, you may be qualified, but if I bring you here, your future is damaged forever. Because everything he does, people will not correct him, they won't teach him. You will not be the professional that you want to be, given the society in which we are. So wait, I will throw you outside there, and then you grow. When I leave in 2 years' time, you can apply, and then you come, then they will give you the tuition that it takes.
Now, also at the program, Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Professor Stephen Adey, accused successive governments of finding the Information Ministry or funding the Information Ministry at the expense of the National Commission for Civic Education.
To give National Commission for Civic Education 2 million cedis to educate the whole of Ghana on civics. And I'm saying this because I run schools. Even my small Gimpa, small, you are talking about 30 million and over. So I think that it is a deliberate attempt to make sure that the NCC does not work. And that is not the government of today. The governments of today don't want, if anything at all, they would like to give the money to the Ministry of Information because it is their propaganda machinery. That's all.
Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Professor Stephen Ade. Now, the police have thwarted an attempt by the Rastafari Council Ghana to demonstrate over the decriminalization of marijuana, which was slated for today. The Ghana police yesterday obtained a 10-day injunction from an Accra commercial court to prevent the council from proceeding with its march. There have been calls by some organizations and individuals for government to consider the legalization of cannabis, explaining it has massive economical benefits. Let's hear from its president, the president of the Rastafari Council of Ghana, Fex Pongo.
We hear yesterday that they called us and tell us around 9 o'clock that the court is sitting yesterday at 9 o'clock. And before we shall even get ourselves ready, minutes after, we were told again that the judgment has been passed and the case has been adjourned for another 10 days. We want the police to know that our days are not exhausted. We still have more international cannabis days ahead, and we will definitely continue with what we are doing. And it is our right to march, and it is their duty to escort us. What we want to tell them is that we are also well-meaning Ghanaians, and Mr. Akresi Sapon is a well-meaning Ghanaian. Mr. Late Kofi Annan is a well-meaning Ghanaian. And all these people have talked about the decriminalization of cannabis in Ghana because it will give us a lot of foreign currency. We shall be making like $10 billion every year. We shall create a lot of employment. If we open a factory in Afram Plains and just produce even card, the one they used to insulate cars, like the inside card for the car, for export to Germany, we can produce cellulose. So ecologically, economically, medically, and industrially, hemp is very good for us. And there was no health reason why hemp was prohibited. It was more of a political, racial, and economic reason. That is why it was prohibited. So now that other countries have taken the lead, they have decriminalized hemp, and they are producing products of hemp and importing it or exporting it to Ghana. We are buying it here. It is better for our own people to also make some benefit out of it.
Fex Pongo there is president of the Rastafari Council of Ghana. Also happening as we speak, NACOB is destroying drugs worth millions of Ghana cedis at Bondase. We'll go live to my colleague Matilda Obamega shortly. But whilst we wait, the swift intervention of police and the fire service prevented irate residents of Edrisu Jamase from setting a residential apartment housing some Benin nationals on fire. Angry residents who suspect the expatriates are behind the spate of killings in the community set the 4-bedroom apartment ablaze. It took reinforcement from the police to control the irate youth who besieged the Edrisu police station, demanding the release of one of the young men picked up in connection with the arson. My colleague Ohiming Teria has been following up and joins us on the phone with more. So Ohiming, we understand this action by the residents was sparked by the murder of a 16-year-old SHS2 student there. Tell us more about it.
With Linda Akansa, SHS student of Jabe Senior High School, who at that time was reading home accounts, and residents say this is not the first time that somebody, especially a female, has been murdered in the community. They have been cataloging the number of deaths recorded, and they say that for the past 3 or 4 years, they have recorded 6 of such deaths of women in the community, and they suspect that these Benin nationals who moved to the community are behind the spate of murders in the community. And they are also, taking this action because they say police have not been forthcoming with investigations. They have not arrested anybody in connection with the murders. So in order to help police unravel these circumstances, they took the law into their own hands whilst they were in a meeting with the police in Edrisu Jamase, and some of them sneaked out to set the house ablaze. But police had a hint of it and invited the fire service, whose swift intervention prevented the 4-bedroom apartment from being razed down by these irate youth. Police arrested one person in connection with the arson, and the youth also followed up to the Edrisu police, demanding the release of the young man from the police cells, and that is when police had to call reinforcement. Just this morning, the Edrisu Divisional Commander, ACP Stephen Tene Ngisa, and then the District Police Command of officials have been meeting the residents, asking them to provide information that could lead to the arrest of the suspects within the community. But residents say almost every murder that they have recorded, complaints have been lodged with the police, and nobody seems to have been arrested in connection with those murders. So they want police to do more. Their suspicion is that the criminals live in the community, and police are not doing enough to arrest them. So that is how come they took the law into their own hands. The family of the late 16-year-old Ankansa were there, and the information they have been sharing with us indicates that part of the body of the young girl, the young woman, was missing, and this is information that police wouldn't want to confirm. They say that the 16-year-old girl has already been buried. MFR.
Well, but in connection with today's incident, though, has the police managed to pick up anyone? Because you were talking about a young man that was picked up, that the youth were demanding his release.
Nobody has been arrested in connection with the youth besieging the police station. Just that one person was picked up for the arson attempt on the house, which houses the Benin nationals. But the ACP in Gisa tells me nobody has been arrested apart from the young man who is still in their police custody.
You hear that my colleague Oheming Teria will get you more in our subsequent bulletins. But stranded residents of Agavaji and Salakopa in the Keta South municipality are calling on government to extend the construction of the sea defense wall to their communities in order to save them from losing all their homes to the sea. The residents are currently homeless as a result of the devastation caused by the high waves yesterday. MCE for Ketu South, Elliot Edem Agbeno, said the two communities are on the verge of being wiped out by the sea. He called for an urgent support from government. Let's go live and speak to my colleague Ivy Setoji for more. Now, Ivy, how many people are affected in this latest tide?
Well, according to what we gathered yesterday, over 200 residents have been affected by the high waves, and some of them are putting up with families and friends in some other communities, and some even went as far as to put up with families in Agbozuma, also in the same district. As we speak, the issue is rather getting worse today. This afternoon is getting worse. The rain is also raining dismally as well. So residents are, as I said, homeless, and right now there is nothing happening, or there is no help anywhere. So the MC is calling for urgent help from the government. So something comes down.
So you heard there my colleague Ivy Setoji. Remember, we're also live in Keta on Radio Jubilee. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Still to come, traders at Kaswa Market mass up here at Multimedia, demanding that the new levy imposed by the Assembly for the construction of the market should be scrapped. They're saying they would not pay. And later,
what advice will you give? Show how you arrived at your decision. You may now begin.
We'll get you the results of that as Holy Child School battles it out with two others at the Science and Maths quiz. We'll get an update and hear from the team psychologist on helping them overcome the stress from defeat.
We meet all the team, including their coaches. Then we try to take them through series of psychological strategies, how they can reduce their anxiety. They may worry a lot. Some may not even forgive themselves for getting certain questions wrong.
Let's go,
My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality, but I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302-633-988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go!
This week on the Joy Business Van.
When I was in school, my dad would be serious about this job. I said, no. How come that after finishing sixth form, I'll come and do this job. I said, no way, I will not go in for that. But as time goes on, I saw the need for me to move from that direction to the job that my dad has pursued or did.
25 years down the line, and James Big Baron is turning around the fortunes of the family business, Gangarian Designs. Join the van this Wednesday as we take you to the mining hub, Takwa, in the Western region, where the Apro Manufacturing Company is serving miners. The Joy Business Van on TV, radio, online and on ground. It's powered by Joy Business and supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News, and we all know the scores by now. But let's take the latest from the world of sports. I'm sure it's about AFCON.
Absolutely, the knives, the knives are out. After that uninspiring 2-2 draw with Benin last night in their opening group match in Ismailia. Now, some have descended heavily on the players for a lame performance, and the coach also scrutinized for his tactical display on the night. But Asamoah Gyan, who is playing in another tournament, he's seen it all. He says maybe they can take some positives from yesterday's event.
It's a good point. We had a red card in the later stages of the second half. So we had to soak the pressure, and then we had a draw. I think the draw is okay.
You've been in, at this stage. I mean, you have the experience. 2-2, not bad. What does that do to our confidence going into the game against, Cameroon?
Yeah, things happen in tournaments like this, and we're just hoping for the better. Because this point was very, very important. We escaped a defeat because we played 10 against 11. So we have to go back home, look on the drawing board, see where we had some mistakes, and then we can come back strongly against Cameroon. Anything can happen in the tournament.
You heard Asamoah Gyan, the captain of the Black Stars, general captain of the Black Stars. But, in Benin, we understand it was confetti. They celebrated the point end.
Yeah, I'm happy. Benin did well yesterday. We're so proud. It's good.
The performance of Benin yesterday in the match was very amazing. I've been surprised, and I think I'm not the only one that has that feeling. So I hope we should continue that way and more victory for the next. So we're hoping.
Yeah, Benin. We did hard yesterday. We fought hard. Our team was good. Ghana faced a really strong team.
You heard some voices there from Cotonou, where Benin celebrated that draw with the Black Stars. There's commentary at 2:30. The build-up is at 2 o'clock, so you can catch us. The team 3 matches coming up today.
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Now let's head to Kaswa, because the traders have actually come here by themselves. They've massed up in front of the multimedia group, and they're calling on the assembly to do something. They are saying that they are not going to pay the new levy imposed by the assembly for the construction of a market. The traders say they contributed to building the market, and they do not see why they should pay to use it afterwards. And I have one of them in the studios with me, Mr. Samuel Boabing. We're grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So what really are the concerns? Why won't you pay?
Thanks, and good afternoon to your listeners. We were there, and then the Municipal Assembly Chief Executive, the MCE, came to tell us that he was going to construct a shed for the traders around Kaswa. So we thought he was going to do it by himself, the assembly.
Okay.
Later, when the contractor came to site, we realized he had put out an account number for everybody to pay whatever he feels.
An account number for the assembly?
Nah, Tio Phones.
Oh,
that is the name of the account number. So we didn't understand why he should do that. We went to the MCE to report this case, and then he told us he has realized his contractors do not have money and that we should contribute as an association so as to peg him. When he finishes, we'll take our sheds. After constructing the sheds, we've given them 221,600 Ghana cedis, which we are to pay in full 400,000 Ghana cedis to them. After paying these monies, you come to tell us that it is a PPP program. And we are saying, nah, it didn't start that way, because we are the executives, and right from the beginning, you've been dealing with us. You've not made mention of PPP. We kept asking of the arrangements concerning the sheds. You kept saying we should wait, hold on till we are done. And now we are done, you want to impose something that we feel we cannot, and you still want to force it.
So after the construction, now they say you should pay before you can occupy the shed.
They said we should pay the full complement of 400,000, which we cannot for now. Because we were told to pay 200 cedis, and that was what we told our traders. So we started taking 200. When after completion of that 180,000 Ghana cedis, he said, he went further to say that 160,000 cannot complete the shed, and that we should add 300 cedis to it. And you know, as an association, all our members cannot pay in full, or cannot have the members as they are requesting. They always tell us, these traders have more than that money, and that is they are taking that opportunity to come and then take monies from us, which we will not agree to.
So today you are demonstrating. What exactly do you want done?
One, we've spoken to the MCE on several occasions, and we feel he has connived with them to take our monies, and that we are pleading with the government of Ghana.
But that you cannot prove, though, that he's connived with the assembly.
From the meetings we've had with him, anytime we go to him, he will tell us he will sort out the problems. But anytime he meets us with the contractors, he sides with them. Anything they proposes, he does not change his mouth. That is why we feel he has connived with them.
Mr. Samuel Boabin there will take up this issue and of course reach the municipal assembly, meet the municipal assembly as well, and then check out what exactly the issue is in our subsequent bulletins. We are grateful for your time. So you hear the traders of the Kaswa markets, they've massed up at the multimedia, raising concerns about a levy imposed by the assembly for the construction of a market. Now it's time to get an update on the National Science and Maths quiz as another girls' school crashes out. It was Holy Child School against Kumasi Academy and Anglo SHS, and Kumasi Academy is in the lead, or has just won that battle. But let's listen to what happened earlier.
A young farmer was given a list of 4 compounds to select one as a possible nitrogen fertilizer for a vegetable garden. The compounds are NH4, NaNO3, the third one NH4, NO3, and the last one NH2 in brackets subscript to CO. What advice will you give? Show how you arrived at your decision. You may now begin.
And that's not for me because I can't begin. But Maxwell Agbagba joins us on the line from the University of Ghana Business School, where the competition, or that first competition, I am told, has just ended. And we're told, Maxwell, that Holy Child has also crashed out.
Yes, MFR, Holy Child has also crashed out. There was no clear winner even after round 4. But at the end of the competition, Kumasi Academy scored 44 points. Anglo SHS had 28 points. Holy Child, they were the third school with 24 points. Some old students of Kumasi Academy I spoke to say they are not surprised by the results. Kumasi Academy came into this contest as the best side. They are the third highest scoring school in the regional qualifiers with 70 points. They scored 45 points in the prelims just some days ago. Although Holy Child came to the contest as a seeded school, many predicted it would be a win for Kumasi Academy. Some old students of Holy Child who came to the auditorium with yellow T-shirts were all left disappointed.
And that's my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. How do these contestants deal with the defeat? Nancy Emefa Jadosi caught up with Dr. Collins Bedu Ajiman, who is the team psychologist, on how he helps them.
From our assessment, we think before, during, and after the competition, these contestants need support. And so before, what we did with them, we meet all the team, including their coaches, and then we try to take them through a series of psychological strategies, how they can reduce their anxiety, how they need to work together as a team, self-regulation strategies.
That's a psychologist, Dr. Collins Bedu Ajiman. People are talking on social media. Maps, what are they saying?
And they're talking about John Boy and Kwesi Appiah after that game yesterday. At Gary Asma says John Boy must blame himself. He was warned twice. Samuel Ususab was bizarre. He had legs to go on. And Jordan Great's game, Andre great game. I couldn't tell what pattern Ghana played. #JoyFM. This one is from Ed Hussein Abdullah 15, who says John Boy should just be sent back to Ghana, period. And at Kweku Cyber says we deserve everything that's happening to our Black Stars. And this one is from Kojo Boacha, who says just give the coaching job to Asamoah Gyan for the remainder of the tournament. Make Kwesi Appiah come home ASAP.
We still support the Black Stars anyways. And that's it for the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am MFA Pao. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Thanks so much for your company.